On February 28, 2026, the world changed. The United States and Israel launched nearly 900 strikes on Iran in the first 12 hours alone. Iran's supreme leader was dead.
حضرت امام خامنه ای با نوشیدن شهد گوارای شهادت
The Strait of Hormuz closed. Oil prices exploding past $115 a barrel. And now, on day 20 of this war, one question is being asked in every war room, every trading floor, every capital on earth. Can America afford to lose this war? The answer is no. And today, I'm going to show you exactly why, with facts, figures, and a timeline that changes everything you thought you knew. Stay with me, because the stakes aren't just military. They are economic, political, and existential. To understand where we are, you have to understand how we got here. 2015, the Iran nuclear deal is signed. The world breathes. Then 2018, Trump pulls out. Sanctions return.
Reinstating U.S. nuclear sanctions on the Iranian regime.
Iran starts enriching uranium again. 2024, Israel and Iran exchange direct missile strikes for the first time in history. The gloves come off. June 2025, Israel launches the 12-day war. Nuclear facilities struck. Senior Iranian commanders killed. The U.S. joins the strikes. December 2025, Iran's economy collapses. Protests erupt, the largest since the Islamic Revolution. Then in January 2026, Iranian security forces kill at least 30,000 of their own people. February 25, 2026, Iran's foreign minister says a nuclear deal is within reach. 3 days later, Operation Epic Fury begins.
Since the United States military began Operation Epic Fury.
So why did America go to war? Washington gives 3 reasons. First, the IAEA detected highly enriched uranium hidden in an undamaged underground facility just days before the strikes. Second, Iran was developing ballistic missiles capable of reaching the continental United States. Third, Saudi Arabia, Israel, and Gulf allies had been pushing President Trump toward military action for months. Iran tells a different story. Tehran insists this war was never about uranium. It was about Israel's broader regional ambitions, a strategic objective that Iran says Israel skillfully used to draw America in. 2 narratives, 1 war, you decide. Strait of Hormuz. Now here's where it gets truly terrifying. And this is what most news channels aren't telling you. 21 miles wide at its narrowest point, and through it flows 20 million barrels of oil every single day. 1/5 of the world's liquefied natural gas, 1/3 of global fertilizer trade, 70% of Middle Eastern oil bound for China, Japan, South Korea, and India. On March 2nd, Iran's Revolutionary Guard officially closed it. Their words, not 1 liter of oil will pass through Hormuz.
Attention all ships, this is Sepah Navy, Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps Navy. From now on, all navigating through the Strait of Hormuz is forbidden. No ship in every type is not allowed to pass from Strait of Hormuz till...
The result, Brent crude was $72 a barrel on February 27th. By March 8th, $100. By March 19th, $115. And Iran's warning, expect $200. Goldman Sachs has already raised their U.S. inflation forecast. Oxford Economics says if prices average $140 a barrel for 2 months, that is the breaking point for the global economy. And here's what Americans need to understand. The U.S. doesn't import much Middle Eastern oil directly, but oil is a global commodity. When prices spike anywhere, they spike everywhere. Gas prices up 7.5%. The NYSE down 6%. Nasdaq down over 2%. Global stocks off more than 5% since the war began. 30% of Europe's jet fuel gone. 30% of generic drug prescriptions, supply chains disrupted, food prices climbing because fertilizer moves through that strait too. This isn't just a Middle East problem. This is your wallet. America has 40,000 to 50,000 troops across Qatar, Bahrain, Kuwait, the UAE, and Saudi Arabia. Over 7,000 U.S. strikes launched on Iran since February 28th. 13 American soldiers killed in Iranian counterstrikes. Iran hit back hard. Multiple strikes on the U.S. Navy's Fifth Fleet headquarters in Bahrain. Energy infrastructure across the Gulf targeted. The world's largest natural gas field, South Pars, struck on day 20. Over 2,300 people killed across the region. But here's the nuclear question, because that is what this war is really about. In December 2024, the IAEA reported Iran enriching uranium to near-weapons grade levels. The June 2025 strike set Iran's program back by roughly 2 years. Then, just days before Operation Epic Fury, Iran was caught hiding enriched uranium in an undamaged underground facility at Isfahan. President Trump said it plainly at the State of the Union. Iran is developing missiles capable of striking the United States. The Defense Intelligence Agency estimates it would take Iran a decade to build a long-range missile arsenal. But a nuclear warhead changes everything. That is why America cannot walk away from this conflict without finishing what it started. If America fails here, the consequences are generational. Iran gets the bomb, and with North Korean and Pakistani assistance already documented, it gets there faster than anyone wants to admit. China, which gets a third of its oil through Hormuz, gains a nuclear-armed, Beijing-friendly ally in the heart of the Middle East. Saudi Arabia panics and seeks its own nuclear deterrent, and proliferation begins across the region. America's treaty allies from South Korea to Poland are watching. If the U.S. can't hold the Middle East, who believes in American security guarantees anymore? And the petrodollar, which has underwritten American economic power since the 1970s, begins its final decline. But here's the other side of this. Iran entered this war already broken. Its currency in freefall, its economy under crushing sanctions, its proxy network dismantled, Hezbollah decapitated, Syria's Assad gone, Hamas weakened. Khamenei killed on day one. Air defenses shattered. And a population that just watched 30,000 of its own people killed by its own government. This is why Washington calculated it had more to gain from strikes than from diplomacy. The IEA has released 400 million barrels from global strategic reserves, unprecedented. It covers roughly 20 days of normal Hormuz flows. The U.S. Strategic Petroleum Reserve sits at 415 million barrels, with a maximum drawdown that takes nearly 2 weeks to reach American markets. LNG prices are up nearly 60%. Qatar, which supplies 20% of global LNG, suspended production after an Iranian drone strike. Fertilizer prices are surging right as the American Midwest enters spring planting season. Maersk and Hapag-Lloyd have suspended all Middle East routes. Over 150 ships sit anchored outside the strait, going nowhere. The IMF has warned that every 10% rise in energy prices adds nearly 0.5% to global inflation. Oil has already risen more than 40% since this war began. The math is brutal. So let's bring it home. Economically, a failed war means $200 oil, global recession, food inflation, and the end of petrodollar dominance. Militarily, a nuclear-armed Iran becomes an existential threat to American interests worldwide. Geopolitically, a loss signals to China, Russia, and every adversary that American deterrence is hollow. Regionally, Gulf allies would be forced to choose between Washington and Beijing, and some of them might choose Beijing. Can America win this war? The military picture looks strong. Iran's air defenses are devastated. Its supreme leader is dead. Its economy was already collapsing before the first strike landed. Its nuclear program has been set back. But wars are unpredictable. Every day the strait stays closed, the global economy bleeds. Every missile Iran fires at a Gulf energy facility is another escalation that could drag more countries in. And every day without a ceasefire is another chance for this to become something no one can control. Drop a comment. Do you think America can win? And what happens to the world if it doesn't? Like, share, and subscribe to American Case Study for more analysis like this.